guys, I'm joining you with some new hair today. Yay! Always feels good to get a fresh cut. I feel like for some reason I'd gotten into this pattern of, okay, like last January, I think I cut it about this short, maybe not quite this short, and then the year just kind of trickled on, and of course, like all the craziness of COVID and everything that came about throughout 2020, I guess hair just wasn't a real focus, and I never did anything else with it until now, again, and I go back to that length. It's just a blunt bob. It's all one length all the way around. My hair right now is really fine. It's probably the thinnest it's ever been, which after you have a baby, you go through some postpartum hair loss. And right now I feel like I'm experiencing the little like growing back of that. But I was talking with mom. She's the one who's always cut my hair. She worked in hair for quite a few years. And I was toying with what to do. Do I keep it long and just like get some layers in it? Or what do I want to do with this hair? Because I just felt like I was kind of doing nothing with it, and ended up coming to the conclusion that it would just feel thicker and healthier to just go a little bit shorter, one length all the way around, and I would have my thickest feeling hair. So I really haven't done anything with it today. I took a shower last night, slept on it, got up. My hair is really straight, so that assists me in a nice straight style. But I just sort of teased up around this side and this side just to really get that shape how I wanted it, and a little hairspray, and that's it. I'm excited. I can do middle part, I can do the side part like this, I can do some cute waves, so I think I'm still gonna have some flexibility, and I'm pretty sure I can still get a teeny tiny ponytail out of this too. But anyway, today, guys, I wanted to talk about some of the products that have just not been working real well for me lately. I went through the monthly favorites recently, and I've just been also, as I've been keeping track of those, I have a little section back here where I've just been putting anything that really didn't work well for me, and I realized that that pile had gotten kind of large, and I thought I'll just share all that in a new video. First off, let's start with some coverage products. Some of these things, well, maybe just one or two of these things you've heard me talk about in a video already. This one, I know you saw me use this before, the Ulta Under Eye Brightener. This was in I think the first new at the drugstore video I did this month. It says it's going to brighten and conceal, and the texture of this stick, I mean, if this was smooth and creamy, I'm sure it would be awesome. I would love a brand to put out a nice, like rich, smooth, creamy, corrective stick like this, but this is very dry, and it just does not help the look of the under eye area. You know, there's a zone where it might be my number one place where I'm wanting to not show those fine lines and not want to develop that crepey skin effect that you can get with improper products. And I think with this, it's like you put it on, and it's not just that the texture's off, it doesn't have much coverage, so you're going to want to layer something else on top of it, and it's just like a losing battle. So I'm not a fan of this Ulta little corrector stick, but I desperately want something to be on the market that's like this, but in a much creamier formula. Also, I've been playing with this Makeup Forever Ultra HD Light Capturing Self-Setting Concealer. Now, the idea of a self-setting concealer is really appealing, you know, the thought that you're going to put it on there, it's not going to stay like super duper tacky, but hopefully you'll still have all the coverage you want and the look you want and everything. My issue with this is this shade that I have here, this is shade 21. It seems like it should be so perfect for me. Like, I don't think it's too light, I don't think it's too dark, it's really darn near a skin tone match. And if I've got that, I really expect it to, like, not just cover up, but like I want it to completely camouflage what's there. It needs to be enough coverage as a concealer to, if I'm going over melasma, if I'm going over dark circles, it needs to wipe that stuff out, right? And this just really doesn't. I don't think it has enough coverage. I think the texture is good. I think it's easy to work with, easy to blend. I kind of believe in the self-setting nature of it. You know, it doesn't stay too tacky on the skin to where you feel like, oh my gosh, gotta get some powder on this. I support that and all, but again, given the shade, you know, it really should be the right shade for me, and it's not covering everything. So for that reason, it's not something I'm going to hold on to. I feel like I'm on Shark Tank right now. For that reason, I'm out. Oh, this was a while ago that I used this. I feel like maybe around Christmas time, but it's this NARS Power Matte Lip Pigment. This is the shade called Star Woman, and it's a really beautiful red, by the way. I mean, I can't argue with the color tone of it. It's really pretty, but this is a matte lip product that just, it does not behave. Like, I feel like the wear down was pretty terrible. It didn't really stay in place on my lips. It gives you the illusion that maybe you're putting on that matte liquid lipstick and you're like, okay, let me grab a bold shade. It's gonna really stay in place and hang in there. But it's kind of like a wolf in sheep's clothing, you know, because it does not actually perform in a reliable way on my lips whatsoever. I feel like it was everywhere, transferring off on everything. The wear down was not cute. There are plenty of products that you can buy. If you're into that no transfer off idea, you know, look at the Maybelline Superstay Matte Ink, the pencils or the liquid. It would have been a nightmare if I thought, okay, I'm gonna put this on and then maybe wear a mask around. Like, I can't imagine the transferring situation. So I feel like I have liked so much of what NARS has done, but this and one other product that you're gonna see me talk about here, not a fan. Here is the other product. Let's jump into that. This is the Extreme Effects eyeshadow palette. I don't want to say this is the worst eyeshadow palette ever because so much is going right, but a very important part of this palette is going wrong, and I'm just going to point that out to maybe save somebody down the road. Like, look at the color scheme here. Definitely seems like something I'd like, right? You got some warmth, you got some plum, you got some peach in there. It's all looking pretty good. We've got a few mattes that I'm seeing right in this area and shimmer in kind of this U shape around the outside. Here's the problem. They're giving you this deep dark shade, and this is probably the flakiest color in the whole palette. A flaky, shimmery black. Like, I mean, putting it on, it just wants to like particle flake everywhere. Why in the world would you do that with that very key, very important shade? A shade you might want to pick up with a tiny liner brush, a shade you might, you know, want to amp up your outer corner with, to basically take all of these shades and intensify the look even further. Why would we put that in some kind of like a flaky texture that just, you know, it literally has to be pressed and like shoved together down into the skin to actually do its job? This is an example of where one bad apple can kind of spoil the whole bunch, because I really don't find myself wanting to grab for this, and I think the price tag NARS puts on things, I don't think you should have to settle for that. I just don't understand the choice there. That shade, if anything's going to be matte in here, that should be matte, or if it's going to be shimmer, at least let's make it smooth. Let's make it something that's not going to flake, because a black flaky powder on the skin, black flaky fallout, that can be one of the hardest things to recover from, I think. So for all that looks well in that palette, there is something going wrong for me. Here's another thing that I, just for my own color preferences, really didn't think looked so great on my skin, and I'll explain why. It's the Nudes by Juvia's. Juvia's Place, generally speaking, I think is doing some great little eyeshadow palettes and big eyeshadow palettes, but the reason why I didn't like this was all the kind of yellowy tone coming out that wasn't like pure yellow. It wasn't like the honey mustard type shades, but this yellow tone peach, and then not having a lot of darkness to really cut into that, it just did not look super flattering on my eyes. Like, this being my ultimate depth on my eyes did not look super attractive. This khaki, like super yellowy beige, to me it didn't feel flattering. The textures of, like, say the shimmer shades that are in here are, I think, pretty good, and the textures of the mattes are nice as well. I really can't complain about the quality of the actual shadows, but it's a shade thing. It's like, if you look at my skin tone, and maybe I've got kind of some cooler undertones and whatnot going on, and maybe this could work on someone, but on me, it did not look appealing really on the eyes. Sometimes with these pared down super monochromatic palettes, you can hit on something that is like just right for you, but other times if it's wrong, it's like every part of it kind of feels wrong because it's just not being binded together with any particular shade that's helping you out big time. You know what I'm saying? If these particular shades were sprinkled throughout, say, a 28 shade palette, maybe I'd be finding more that I liked, and particularly because these aren't like terrible quality, they wouldn't stand out to me in a super negative way. But because in this palette, this is all I have, and I really do like to be able to assess a palette based on what the palette itself can do without drawing anything else in. It's just apparent to me that this is not my favorite shade range for me. And I learned something through that. You know, trying it wasn't for nothing. I kind of learned that the yellowish beiges just aren't super flattering on my eyes. A couple of ridiculous lip scrubs here. One here from Buxom, it's called the Powerful Lip Scrub in Dragon Fruit, and then the one that you saw me use recently from Sephora, it was the Color Enhancing Lip Scrub. Both of these are just, it's kind of ridiculous. This is white. It gets your lips all like really super white, and like so much of that product is coming off. I mean, you could pick up a white colored lip smacker, right? And it would just look glossy on the lips. It's not like a ton of that is coming onto your lips. Here, you're getting just tons of this white white goop, the amount of scrubbies in there versus the amount of white goopiness coming off on your lips, it's like, what was this supposed to be? We need this to be a scrub, okay? We're asking for it to be a scrub. It's lip scrub is in the name. Just save yourself a bunch of money, get yourself an e.l.f. lip exfoliator. That's the perfect thing for that texture and friction galore, but without a ton of this goop that you don't even need. You know, you were planning to probably use the lip exfoliator and then pull in a nice balm or a nice lipstick or something like that. You don't need all that coming off of this stick in a super messy, uncontrollable way. And it's the same story for this one, as you may have seen in that video. You know, a ton of color and goop came off, but I didn't get a super amazing exfoliating effect from it. I did feel some scrubbing out of these, but not nearly to the degree that I would feel from an e.l.f. lip exfoliator, so check that out. Another dud for me that I'm just going to point out here, these lashes from Sephora, the House of Lashes Sephora Collection Rose Quartz. In the last video, again, talk about something that went on looking pretty. I'm not really having gripes about the style, but I think that brands need to make the lash bands more user-friendly, because I couldn't even get through the whole day with those. I honestly thought maybe just having them on there would cause them to shape themselves a little bit more, and who knows, maybe with another use or two they would get better about that. But if you put a fresh lash on, and honestly a lot of people might buy a fresh new lash for a special occasion, and if that can't get you through the entire day, if it can't possibly be tacked down with glue, that band is too stiff, you know, and they've got to work some more flexibility in there somehow. I love working with lashes that do have that lighter, more pliable band to where it can fit any eye shape, you know, and really hang in there. These were just completely wanting to come off before the end of the day, and so I had to take them off. Beautiful thickness, yes. What did the quality of the lash hair itself seem durable and nice, you know, high quality and dense? Absolutely. But it's all about the band with these, and it just wasn't working for me. And the last thing I want to point out here, this is just for your information. I'm not saying this is a terrible product. I think it's kind of a run-of-the-mill tinted moisturizer, honestly, but I just wanted to give you a little heads up that if you're about my skin tone and you're tempted to buy the L'Oreal Skin Paradise water-infused tinted moisturizer in the shade Light, it is going to be incredibly yellow toned. Just putting that out there. If you're a little more cooler tone complexion, if you tend to hope things are going to be a little more like on the pinky side or the neutral side as opposed to really yellow in tone, watch out for this one. The shade Light seems like, I can see so many people just saying, oh yeah, I'm probably light, I'm light in a lot of things, I'll buy that. It's very yellow. Maybe the really yellow things do work for you and you're like, okay, that's what I need. So this could be a positive for somebody. I'm just saying, for me, this shade, watch out for it. It is very, very yellow. And that, my friends, wraps up the things that didn't really work for me. Again, there are probably other reasons why these things could work well for someone else. So don't take it personally. If you love these things, I'm glad you were able to find some positives in them that would work for you. But with makeup, we've got to keep in mind, we're all looking at this stuff through our own lens, our own concerns, our own preferences, our own loves, our own comparisons that we're making to things we already have. So that's why you got to watch this stuff, and even positive reviews too, and think, well, that's what she thought about that, but there's a chance I could feel differently because I like X, Y, and Z, you know, all the different factors at play. So just putting that out there. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you again very soon. Bye.